because I made all those deals for the farmers and for your state. But just think about it. With him, I said two things. Number one, you can't do it. And number two, the oil price at $40 a barrel doesn't allow him to prosecute a war because they make money, but not that much, and they have to run a country. At $100 a barrel, they make a fortune. I mean, he'll be the first person to make a lot of money because right now they're making a tremendous amount of money. And isn't it interesting that Biden keeps talking about, Ukraine and all, and everybody feels badly for Ukraine. One thing I have a problem with, though, is Europe, which is right there. And, Europe is essentially the size of us. If you add all the countries together, it's basically the size of the United States. So if you look at it, Europe, so they're at $25 billion, and we're at $200 billion. Only a stupid person would make that deal. Why would they do that? I did that with NATO, too. You remember I said, no, wait a minute, everybody owes us money. They were delinquent. Almost every country was delinquent. And I said, you can't be delinquent. You have to pay. Otherwise, we're not going to protect you. And the head of a country actually stood up in a closed meeting. The press knew about it, very little reporting because it was too positive, and said, sir, does that mean that if we get attacked by Russia and we aren't paid up, you will not protect us? I said, yes, that's exactly what that means. Now, normally that would be a very controversial subject. But what happened is the money, hundreds of billions of dollars came pouring in. And Secretary General Stoltenberg, who's the head of NATO, was then and is now, it's a good man. I don't know if he'd still say this, but he said, Trump, that's the greatest job I've ever seen. He'd been working for his entire term trying to get other countries to pay, and he couldn't. And when I came in, everybody was just, the money was pouring in like gravy, so it was a great thing. And that's the money they have right now. But now we're doing the same thing. All you have to do is ask. If I ask you up, I say, look, here's the problem. We're in for $200 billion, and we have an ocean separating us, right? You're in for $25 billion, and you have no ocean separating you. Why aren't you paying up? And they would say, well, blah, blah, blah. They always have. But if I say to pay up, they'll pay up. And they should equalize. If they're going to do this, they should equalize. Why are we $175 billion more? And I can tell you why, because we have stupid people representing us. That's why. And it's not a hard thing to sell. It's not a hard thing to sell. They understand it. Actually, I went to some countries and I got deals so easy. They said, we've been waiting for you. We've been waiting. They just immediately agreed because it was so ridiculous. Japan, Prime Minister Abe was a great man. He was, as you know,